The charity gala unfolded like a dream designed by money. Crystal chandeliers dripping light onto silk gowns, soft violin music floating through the air, and laughter carefully measured so it never sounded too loud or too real. Eleanor Widmore stood near the balcony doors, one gloved hand resting on a marble railing, watching the city glow beneath her feet. From the outside, she looked untouchable. A self-made millionaire, a patron of lost children foundations, a woman admired and envied in equal measure. Inside, however, she felt hollow. Every year, this gala carried the same silent weight. The same framed photograph sat near the stage, a smiling little girl with dark curls and bright eyes. Eleanor's daughter. 10 years missing. 10 years of unanswered prayers, dead ends, and hope that refused to die, no matter how much it hurt to keep alive. Eleanor lifted her champagne glass but didn't drink. She never did at these events. She needed to stay sharp, as if focus alone could somehow bring her child home. "Ma'am." The voice was small, uncertain, almost lost beneath the hum of conversation. Eleanor turned slowly, already preparing the polite smile she reserved for strangers. But the words that followed froze her in place. "I know that missing child," the girl said. The room seemed to fall away. Eleanor's heart slammed against her ribs. Standing before her was a thin girl, no older than 12, wearing a simple dress that didn't belong among the glittering guests. In her hands was a wrinkled flyer, the flyer, creased from being folded and unfolded too many times. What did you say?" Eleanor asked, her voice barely steady. The girl swallowed, eyes darting nervously around the room before meeting Eleanor's gaze again. "I've seen her. I recognize her." Eleanor felt her breath slip. Hope was dangerous. Hope had betrayed her before. Yet something in the girl's eyes, earnest, frightened, determined, made Eleanor's knees weaken. For the first time that night, Eleanor forgot where she was. Forgot the music, the lights, the wealth surrounding her. All she could see was the flyer in the girl's hands, and the possibility, fragile and terrifying, that everything might change. Eleanor's fingers closed tightly around the stem of her glass as she guided the girl away from the crowd, toward a quiet alcove lined with velvet curtains. The music softened there, as if the world itself knew to hold its breath. Eleanor studied the girl more closely now, too thin, eyes too old for her age, shoulders tense like someone used to being doubted. "What is your name?" Eleanor asked, carefully, the way one speaks when afraid of shattering something fragile. "Lily," the girl replied. Her voice wavered, but she didn't look away. "I didn't mean to cause trouble. When I saw the picture, I knew." Eleanor's pulse thundered in her ears. "Knew what?" Lily unfolded the flyer with trembling hands and smoothed it flat. "She used to sing to me at night," she said quietly. Not like other adults, soft, almost whispering. The song was about stars and keeping promises. The glass slipped from Eleanor's fingers and shattered on the marble floor. She barely noticed. That lullaby. Eleanor had made it up when her daughter was born. No one else knew it. No one. "That's impossible," Eleanor whispered, tears burning her eyes. "My daughter disappeared 10 years ago. There were searches, police, proof she was gone." Lily nodded slowly, as if she'd expected disbelief. "She told me people were looking for her. That she had to stay hidden. She cried when she talked about you." Eleanor pressed a hand to her mouth, her carefully built composure crumbling. "What else did she tell you?" Lily hesitated, then said, "She has a tiny scar behind her right ear. From falling off a swing. And you used to call her, 'My brave little star,' when she was scared." Eleanor's knees buckled. She grabbed the edge of a table to stay upright as sobs tore free from her chest. Those words had lived only in her heart for a decade, locked away with grief. For the first time since her daughter vanished, Eleanor allowed herself to believe, truly believe, that this was not another cruel lie. And that belief broke her completely. They sat in a small private lounge at the back of the hall, far from the music and the curious glances. A staff member closed the door gently, and silence settled like a protective shield around them. Eleanor wiped her tears, though they kept returning, while Lily sat with her hands folded tightly in her lap, as if afraid the truth might escape if she loosened her grip. "Take your time," Eleanor said softly, her voice hoarse. "Please, tell me everything." Lily drew in a shaky breath. "I didn't know who she really was at first. I was younger than her. We lived in the same house. She paused, choosing her words. There were other children. Some came, some left. No one ever talked about where we came from. Eleanor felt a chill run through her. An orphanage? Not exactly, Lily replied. It was supposed to look like one. But people would visit, take pictures, sign papers. Sometimes children would cry and beg not to go. Sometimes they never came back. Eleanor's stomach twisted. She already sensed the shape of the truth, dark and jagged. She told me she was taken when she was little, Lily continued. That the papers said she was dead. The woman who raised us said it was safer that way. That powerful people paid to keep secrets. Eleanor closed her eyes, pain and fury crashing together inside her. Illegal adoptions. Forged records. Every dead end she had faced suddenly made sense. She tried to find you, Lily said, her voice breaking. But she was watched. Letters disappeared. Phones were taken away. When she turned 18, she ran. That's when we got separated. Eleanor leaned forward, gripping Lily's hands. Is she alive? She asked, barely able to breathe. Lily nodded firmly. Yes, she's alive. She's working in a small town. She's scared. She thinks you moved on, that maybe you forgot her. A broken sound escaped Eleanor's chest. Forgot her, she whispered. I built my entire life around finding her. Lily squeezed her hands. That's why I came. I saw your foundation. I knew you were still looking. For the first time, hope didn't feel like a lie. It felt like a fragile, trembling truth, finally stepping into the light. The cafe smelled of fresh bread and rain-soaked pavement, a quiet, ordinary place, nothing like the glittering world Eleanor usually inhabited. She chose it on purpose. If this moment was real, she wanted it to belong to life, not spectacle. Eleanor sat by the window, hands wrapped around a cup of untouched tea, her heart racing with every sound of the door opening. Then it happened. A woman stepped inside, hesitating just past the threshold. She was taller now, her hair pulled back, her face marked by years of survival, but Eleanor knew her instantly. Recognition struck like lightning. Time collapsed. 10 lost years vanished in a single breath. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither moved. Fear, disbelief, longing, all of it passed between them without words. Eleanor stood first, chair scraping softly against the floor. Her voice failed her, but her arms opened. Mom, the woman whispered, the word fragile, uncertain, as if it might break. Eleanor crossed the distance in 2 steps and pulled her into an embrace so tight it bordered on desperate. She felt the familiar shape of her, the warmth, the life. They both cried, quiet, shaking sobs that drew no attention from the other patrons, because some reunions are too sacred to be interrupted. I never stopped looking, Eleanor said into her daughter's hair. Not for a day, not for a second. I thought you gave up, her daughter admitted through tears. They told me you forgot. Eleanor pulled back just enough to look at her face, cupping it in trembling hands. They lied. They stole years from us, but they didn't steal my love. Outside, rain tapped gently against the glass, as if the world itself was listening. They sat together for hours, sharing stories, filling in the broken spaces, laughing through tears. There was grief for what was lost, but also relief for what remained. Later, the headlines would call it a miracle. A billionaire reunited with her child. But in that quiet cafe, none of that mattered. Only this did. A mother, a daughter, and a future finally returned to them both.